met in the army while we were serving. We're both ex-Royal Engineers, and yeah, just struck up a friendship in the army, and then when we got out, we started to work together on the knives. Since early teenage years, I've always been obsessed with sort of woods and outdoor pursuits and crafting things. Basically, I've always had an urge to make stuff and carve things and whittling and stuff, and sort of edge tools is just a natural progression of all of those things. So it's just a drive within me to make stuff, basically, and this is what it's turned into.
It was always like a hobby. Any sort of free time, we were poking around in the workshop and buying little bits of kit and, you know, sort of having a play. And it got to the point where you're making them for other people as gifts and all sorts of stuff. And then people were like, oh, if I give you £100 for the materials, can you make this? And then over the years, it just grew and grew and grew until it needed like full-time labour, effectively. You sort of think, well, why am I working for someone else when I could be doing for myself something that I love? It's that passion. It's you say if you love what you do for a living, you never work a day in your life. But yeah, we put super amounts of man hours into this, and we don't really notice it because we enjoy what we're doing. And I think that's the long and the short of it, really. I'm waiting for it to get to 1050 degrees, and it will start a clock, and that is the timer for how long the knife needs to be for its soak. So that will stay in there now for the 13 minutes. It will ramp it back up to the 1050 and then hold it at that point. And then once it's complete, take it straight out of the kiln and then go straight into the oil for its quench. So this is a special type of oil. This is it's called rye. It's designed specifically for quenching and heat treating steels. So this knife, before it went in here, it was about 16 Rockwell, which is not hard at all. It's now about 62. So yeah, the heat changes the sort of grain in the knife, and then this basically freezes it into that position. And then making the custom pins. We needed to expand the business, and we're quite lucky in the fact that we have quite loyal customers, and our product, especially for the hunting market particularly, is making waves. It's changed what people see in custom knives, and it's changed a lot of people's attitudes towards custom knives. A lot of people are of the school of buy cheap, sharpen often and throw it away when it's broken. But we seem to have found our little niche whereby people are now taking these knives on as like family heirlooms with the view to handing it down and treating it as well as they would, say, their rifle or their binos or anything like that. And I think that's more because it's personalised to them. Paul, obviously, is very well known in the community, and he wouldn't use a piece of kit that was rubbish, basically. And he's going to use something that he thinks is worth the money and worthwhile, and the service that's worthwhile. And that's sort of how we got to know Paul, really.
Hey. What I wanted more than anything was actually to have like an heirloom for me, so that one day I'll be able to hand it down to my son. So we got actually my name and my son's name on here, so it's like imprinted forever. Boys and toys, I suppose. It is literally every man and every boy likes a good knife, and I think this is definitely an amazing knife, not a good knife. That's quite good.
He's now had something nice that he's going to pass on to his son, and that's a nice thing to be involved in from our point of view as well. It's making, we see it as we're sort of making future antiques, because they're built to last that long.
From a blank with no edge whatsoever, sort of roughing out stage, working up all through the belts, there's about 12, 13 belts, takes about an hour's work. The last belts are literally honing belts, they're mirror polish, and when they come off the machine they'll shave hair. Finish that edge now, that's all sharp, and as you can see that is now shaving hair. So we'd obviously then take it and strop it and just refine that edge. That extra little bit, but the edge is on.
It's probably one of the most dangerous pieces of kit in the workshop. Although it doesn't look it, it is. If it grabs the knife out of your hand, it's going to shoot it up towards your sort of upper torso, if not your face, or it's going to bounce off a wall, and it will bounce. So yeah, the chainmail is just an extra piece of PPE to make sure that I can carry on doing my job. it's 4 separate mops, so it's the sessile, 2 stitch mops, and then the loose leaf mop with different pastes as we go. This is just one of multiple ways of finishing a blade. It might seem like a fairly insignificant process, but it's the aesthetics of the knife. That's what really makes it. When someone picks it up out of the box and go, wow, look at the polish on that, and they see their face in it, or they look at whatever finish they've asked for, that's the first thing they'll see. And if it looks rubbish, then they think the whole knife is then rubbish, even though it could be the best steel in the correct form and the correct Rockwell hardness with the nicest handle material. If it's not polished to the way they want, it's not going to make a nice knife. A bit of WD-40 just helps dissolve the compound before, after. Okay, so this is a really small cross-section of some of the handle materials that are available. There are about 1,800 to 2,000 types of handle material plus their variants, and that doesn't include like the specialist sort of rare and fossilised stuff, which is obviously hard to come by and expensive. We tend to use a lot of stabilised woods. Basically mean that we can use woods and they will be food safe. So once they're on the knife, they're not going to shift or take in moisture or blood or matter. So hunters these days don't have to go for that synthetic knife. They can go for the wooden knife, the traditional sort of wooden handle, but it's still going to comply to the sort of food safety and handling rules.
If the product's good, if it works really, really well, people tell other people and come back, and I think that's what we've based everything on, and that's how we've got to where we are today.